Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video in Raid Shadow Legends. This is a last minute video in attempts to make the inevitable tomorrow's video not too long, but we should be getting a new fusion tomorrow. It doesn't show up yet, it's not in the news yet, but if anyone were to look at the tournaments and events, you would see a new little update for something that's starting tomorrow. We got this champion training event, most likely going to be one of those 10-day or 2-week-long events ending in 20,000 points for this champion, as well as possibly going further to 25,000 or 30,000. And I'll be going over these events in particular tomorrow, but we will also be seeing a champion chase and a dragon tournament. And if you notice anything similar between all these images, you'll see that we have what should be a new legendary fusion of Brakus the Shifter starting tomorrow. And I will do a quick summary of the champions needed, and will be like the last couple fusions. I'm expecting a list of events related to this fusion, so I'll be going over that tomorrow when they come out. But I wanted to go over the champion and my thoughts on it in this video now, so to make tomorrow's video shorter with all the things that are happening tomorrow. Excuse me. His A1 attacks one enemy and heals himself by 15% of the damage inflicted. His A2 is a 5-turn cooldown, which can be brought down to a 3-turn cooldown, which would be very useful if you happen to use all of the books for him, which seems like it's going to be expensive. But he attacks one enemy 6 times. Obviously, this to my knowledge, this is the most hits any ability in the game will do. I don't think there's any 5s, so I think the only other one would be 4s off a couple of champions. But he attacks 6 times and heals himself by 25% of the damage inflicted, so he definitely does a lot of healing of himself. He also can heal himself by 50% of the damage inflicted instead if the target is under a fear or true fear debuff. And after his first hit, he'll have 5 hits that have a 75 chance of placing a 25% weakened debuff for 3 turns. I actually don't know if this is 5 chances or if it is just 1 chance. It appears like it would be 5 chances, but the fact that you can get up to 100% chance makes it seem like there's no real reason to have 5 100% chances of placing the debuff. But that can be confirmed later, or maybe somebody else already knows this answer if they already have him. And his A3 places a 50% increase attack debuff or buff on all allies, and then attacks one enemy 3 times, so another multi-hit. And this can be brought down to a 4-turn cooldown if you happen to use the books on him, but it starts off at a 5-turn as well. And each of his hits has a 50% chance of placing True Fear debuff for 1 turn only. So really, if you want to take advantage of this for this move that needs the True Fear for extra healing, you have to have 2 turns before the enemy gets off 1 turn. Otherwise, you can't take advantage with his other skill. But places the debuff for 1 turn and has a 50% chance of placing Fear debuff on 2 random enemies for 1 turn if the True Fear debuff is placed. So almost like he's so scary that he actually scares 2 other random enemies. And he has a passive that actually has a passive and active effect, that his damage increases by 40% when his HP drops below 40%, and he is revived with 20% HP when killed, and is granted an immediate turn. So very powerful. Seems like he could be a very strong Fire Knight champion. And there it is. He's got a 5 for Fire Knight champion. Really, he's got 2 multi-hitters, which are good. This one obviously being the better of the 2. But his A1 only attacks once. So he's not like Foley where he's got his A1 does 4 hits, and he also has a second attack that does 4 hits, and Cold Heart's 4 hits, obviously, on her A1. He only has a 1 hit. But if you can get these cooldowns down to 3 for this and 4 for this, I could see him being pretty viable. But without those cooldowns, he's almost as if he's just doing 1 hit reliably because of his A1. But let me tell you, my personal goal before this legendary fusion reared its ugly head, I guess, is I had a personal goal of just going after all of the legendary fusions that happen to come up. I always was trying to just save my resources and always be prepared for when they would come up. But having Harvest Jack just finish, you can see I have very little. You probably need, like, if I remember, like upwards of 90 of these greater arcane potions, and I got a couple of these, but none of these two, and potions are going to be hard for this one if I decide to go for it. But I feel like Polarium found their moneymaker. This is really the only way that you can quote-unquote guarantee a legendary champion. It's not like RNG where if you can make the fusion happen, then you get them. Harvest Jack obviously had the unfortunate thing of having champions locked behind dungeons, which had RNG involved with them. I really hope they stay away from that for this one, if they do in fact. I mean, this has to be a fusion, but I have these gems saved up, and that's thanks to the missions, really. And if it weren't for these missions, I would have absolutely no hope in doing this fusion. Now, I do have some sort of hope because I have so many gems left over. I don't know, I'm trying to go to the news. But I'm just going to have to see what kind of champions are there, and if I can find time to farm up some potions. But everyone seemed to really like this guy when he came out. Personally, this guy I got for a fusion in the past, and so I don't actually have him anymore. So Yaga is my only epic in this Skinwalker lineup, and so having a legendary would definitely help in places like Faction Wars. Obviously, that's what I'm thinking of in this case, because he would be my top tier Skinwalker. Which Skinwalkers happens to be like one of my least prepared Faction Wars teams. So this would be good for me to go for. But seeing how, like I said, I think Polarium found their moneymaker because this is a guaranteed legendary if you can go through the events for it. I guarantee that they're probably making lots of monies off the events, lots of money off of these events for legendary fusions. That's why, I mean, we saw Molly, and then very, very short gap, and then we see Harvest Jack, and then only a few days after his event dies down, and now we're getting a new fusion. And it's mid-November now. This one's going to last 2-3 weeks like they have been in the past, and then I can bet you that we'll be getting a Christmas fusion. Hopefully it would be dear old Santa Claus right here, but they haven't confirmed whether or not they will be bringing him back. All they have said is they can't confirm or deny, but they have been in talks of bringing him back. He was a fusion champion last Christmas, if you did not know. So everyone would love to get Sir Nicholas here. Wonderful champion. But if he does come back for around Christmas time, he's going to be right on the heels of Brakus the Shifter, and we'll be in the same case that we are right now, where we're low on any, like, right now there is no champion training tournament going on, but if one does come up, I don't have a lot of brews, at least not nearly as much as I usually have. The 2 times that it's come up, I've had 100 of almost every brew, and so if one comes around, I'm not nearly as prepared, and I don't have any easy way of getting brews. And so you got to think of that in terms of this. If they keep doing fusion after fusion after fusion, people who really want to do them are going to have to start spending money in order to keep up. And if they are using this to kind of drain our resources for a Christmas fusion, and if it is Sir Nicholas, they know everybody's going to want to get him, and so they could make him harder than anybody else because he is so good, and everybody's going to want to get him. That's just speculation at this point, but it's something to consider, really. You want to, if he does happen to come in December, then you want to have yourself stocked up on gems just in case you need to spend them on energy refills, farming up the potions, or farming up levels for a hard champion training event. But really, I feel like they seem to be possibly in the stance of they might just be continuing doing these legendary fusion, the limited ones, and it might be doing them well, monetarily speaking, I guess. So I guess that's really all I was wanting to cover with this video. I did want to make these points, and I know the fusion's not here yet, but tomorrow morning we'll see that the fusion is here, and I didn't want to make that video incredibly long, making all these points, as well as going over all of the specifics of the fusion. And surprise, surprise, in case you didn't see, it's nowhere here, but it was said on Discord that tomorrow will be coming a Void Shard double chance for Epic and Legendaries. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm planning on opening these Void Shards tomorrow, but we will just have to see. There should be, like I said, a news post. Let's see if we can see the previous one. No, it's not there. But there should be a news post showing that the events planned for the fusion for Brakus the Shifter, and if there's multiple champion summoning events or tournaments, the champion chase tournament here, and if there's a champion or summon rush event, I might have to rethink opening all of these Void Shards. But I'll make that. I'm planning on opening these tomorrow for the double chances. That should be the best place to open them, but I will make my final decision tomorrow. Also, they have these 14 new champions coming, and in the past I've noticed that they post this the next day they're here, and it would make sense that they want to dilute the pool right when they're putting up a tournament and giving us double chances, making us save our shards for tomorrow when they drop all the new champions. So maybe we can visit that a little bit real fast tomorrow if there's any cool legendaries, but there's a lot of stuff happening tomorrow. Double chances, new fusion, 2 new tournaments, and a new event, and I will most likely be opening some shards. So stay tuned for tomorrow. If you haven't noticed, today I dropped a video on the team I used to clear the Ice Golem stage 17, so check that out if you want to check out my team composition. I'm in the process of trying to clear stage 17 of Spider. I have a couple champions I'm starting to tool right now. I used to have probably 10 mil more than I do currently, just because I've been leveling up some gear, and all up to like plus 15, just in case they fix the artifact enhancement event, and I can just bam out a bunch of plus 16s all at the same time. So that'll be it for today's video. Stay tuned for tomorrow's shard opening and everything about Brakus the Shifter's legendary fusion event. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.